welcome back to my channel. Today I will be talking about my favourite sci-fi and dystopian books. Now this is not something I do a lot because I'm very bad at talking about books and giving descriptions when I'm speaking. I kind of just lose all the words that I know and I feel a bit awkward doing it. But I finally decided to do one of these videos. I was going to do sci-fi fantasy, but I thought I would do sci-fi dystopian because these are two genres that I really love and I don't read enough of them, and I have some amazing favourites, some which you will most definitely know because they are very popular books, and others you might not know. But to start with, we have the Enemy series by Charlie Higson. Now this is such a good series. It's like an 8-book series, and we're following a group of kids who are in this world where the adults have become sick, and by adults it means anyone over the age of 14, which is a bit weird, but like anyone over the age of 14 got sick, and it's kind of like a zombie apocalypse, but it's not. It's also set in London, which is something I really loved about it because I haven't really read many sci-fi dystopians set in like a London-esque type place, and this is set in London, so it's really fun to read, and kind of it gets crazy. This first book is really good. I really loved it. This is probably one of my favourites of the series. It gets started like straight away. Things that happen, obviously they're in the middle of like a apocalypse. I'm just gonna call it apocalypse, even though they're not really zombies, they're just sick. But anyway, we follow this group who have now had to move like bases because their one has now become unsafe, and their group is really large, and so they are trying to find a new space. But obviously, typically you would think that other humans or the other kids that are surviving and haven't like been killed or anything would be friendly, but sometimes people aren't as nice even during an apocalypse. It's crazy and it's really cool. And what I really did love about the series is that each book doesn't continue on from the first. Like the second book is set at the same time as the events in this book. We're just following a different group, and it all comes together at the end, and it was done so well, and it was amazing. I really need to reread the series because it was absolutely brilliant. And if you like apocalypses, if you like dystopian, then like just 100% I recommend this series. It's a long series, but the books are all this size, which I think is about 400 pages, so you know it's not too bad. So I definitely recommend this book. Next we have a very popular book. We have Divergent. In this book we're following Beatrice Pryor, who has to make a decision on which faction she's going to be in, because there's where she lit this place, there were 5 factions, and you're born in one, and then when you get to a certain age, you can then choose. But yeah, so she can make a choice on which faction she wants to go in. When they pick the faction that they want to go in, they have to go through these initiate tests, and each test is more challenging than the last, and it's all crazy, and I really loved it. But if you do want to like read the series, I recommend not watching the movies. The first movie is good, but do not watch the rest of the movies. They just go downhill. Anyway, moving on, the next book I have is The Hunger Games, a very popular series, and honestly, one of the best like dystopian books I have ever read. Like when I first read this, I was just like so amazed by the characters and the world and like the society in this, and I'm pretty sure I read this in one sitting because I could not put it down. And I read it so many times that like the spine was cracked, and like the book was basically broken. So I have a new copy that I got off work because I wanted to have a new copy of the series because I love the series so much, and mine were like a mismatched set and all broken and everything like that. So yeah. In this one, we follow Katniss Everdeen, who volunteers as tribute to participate in the Hunger Games. Now, the Hunger Games it's like a survival thing that they hold every year 2 people from each, doesn't say on the back, it's like it's like a faction, and so there's 2 people from each one are chosen, and they are put in this little stadium type place, and well, they have to fight to the death, and the last one alive wins, which is kind of like really, really dark, but the way it's done is really, really good. And yeah, I love the book. I love the first film. Again, I'm not a fan of the rest of the films because I feel like they just didn't live up to the books. And I know this is very common for like most book to movie adaptations, but like the first one is actually really good, and the rest were just like, oh, poop. Now, the next book that I have is the Maze Runner series. Now, I've only read the first and second books. I did read the half of the third book and then I put it down like a long, long time ago. So I'm due for a reread of the first 2 and then the rest of the series. But this book, oh my god, it was just like everything. I'd already read The Hunger Games and Divergent, but when I read this, it like took first place by far. I was very, very intrigued from the start with how our main character Thomas was introduced in the book, and I just love these worlds because they're all so different, and there's just always something very, I can't think of the word I want to use, but something very unique, I'll say, though I don't think that's the word I want to use about these worlds, and I fall in love with them. And honestly, this one, especially at the end, it was so, so good. In this one, we follow a boy called Thomas, and he's kind of lifted up from like this lift thing in the ground, and he gets brought up, and he's now in this place with a group of other boys who are kind of enclosed in this little square encampment, and when the sun comes up, there are all 4 sides of the walls open a little bit, and they can go out into the maze, hence why it's called the Maze Runner. And so they're in the middle of this maze, and it's really crazy, and every time they went out into the maze, when I read this book, I was just like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like literally on the edge of my seat, like, and there is a bit in this which I won't talk about because I don't want to spoil this book for everyone. It's been out a while, but who knows who has or hasn't read this book, definitely read it. Like, I want you all to read all the books that I'm saying because these are all my favourites and I'm just in love with all of them. But like, this one was just so, so good. And I'm really sad that I didn't finish the series. I don't know why I didn't. It's got a sticker. I didn't realise this. Sorry, I've only just noted this. A little off topic, but I have stickers. Oh my god, no. Oh, wait, do all of them have it? Okay, the Hunger Games have it as well, but there we go. All sorted. Let's put. Sorry, I'm like so just gone off topic right now because I've just noticed the stickers. So I'm putting my sticker on the Hunger Games one as well. Oh god, that's slightly off center, but you're not going to notice. Anyway, moving on, because I did get sidetracked. Moving on to recent books that have joined that collection, because those are all like old favourites. We have Scythe. Did any of you think this wasn't going to be on here? Because if you did, get out. Scythe, I read in December of 2019. I'm pretty sure I binged the series in December 2019. And oh my god. This book was everything. Like, it had been a very long time since I read a good, like, sci-fi dystopian. I'm pretty sure this is more dystopian than sci-fi. So when I read it, like, I was just really excited to be reading something decent in a dystopian world again. I fell in love with the characters straight away. Like, Citra and Rowan, amazing characters. And things happened, it was chaos, and honestly, yeah, I 100% recommend you read this book. In this book, we follow Scythe and Rowan, who are chosen to be apprentice Scythes. Scythes are the ones who decide who dies, because death is no longer a natural thing. And so they have to, you know, learn how to be a Scythe, learn the responsibilities of choosing their victims. And yeah, there is a lot of corruption involved, and I absolutely adore that. Corruption is bad, but it's also very intriguing when you're reading a book. Like, you just want more and more chaos and evil schemes. I really, really like that. And this was it. This was everything. And the worst thing was, going through this book, it does say this on the back, so I can say it. They are told that only one of them can be a Scythe, and the one that isn't has to clean the other. So going through this book, thinking that, like, they're gonna have to clean each other, is just, like, so tense. I was just like, oh my god, I don't want either of them to have to do it. So definitely read this book, because it was a hell of a ride. And the other two books are so good. And now one that you should definitely know is on here if you've seen my recent videos. Illuminae. Of course, I had to put this on there. This is a very recent read. I read this in April, at the end of April, or was it at the end of May? It was at the end of May. I read it at the end of May and fell in love with the AI, the sci-fi-ness. It's been so long since I've read a good sci-fi, and honestly, this just did it for me. The mixed media was absolutely amazing. I loved reading, like, pretty much an entire book in mixed media. It's just something I haven't done before, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna, like, really enjoy it, but I did. All the different formats were just so interesting to read, and following this story where Katie and Ezra having their planet attacked, and then being on two different ships separate from each other, you know, not really knowing what's going on, being chased, and then the AI going, like, all corrupt and crazy, and things, like, happening. Just, yeah, it's a hell of a ride, this book. I'm pretty sure I said that about Scythe just now, and that's gonna be my new thing. But honestly, it was brilliant. I was just really intrigued the whole way through, and the last, like, 200-300 pages, I could not put this book down, because I was just like, what is gonna happen next? And I really love that about this book. So, yeah. And now the last one is a very short one. It is Sagar, the sci-fi graphic novel series, which I've only just started reading, but I feel like I had to include because I absolutely adored this. And I've only read 2 volumes, but I know I'm gonna love this series. And if I don't, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do, but yeah, this is a sci-fi graphic novel series which follows 2 people from different races who have come together and they've fallen in love even though they're not supposed to. So it's kind of a bit like Romeo and Juliet. And they have a baby, and they are fleeing the authorities and the people trying to track them down. There's also this intergalactic war going on in the background, and it's just, I feel like this is going to be a very chaotic series. And obviously I've just explained how much I love chaos in all of the books that I've literally just talked about. I'm pretty sure I've described it as chaotic. I clearly like chaos, which I don't know what that says about me. Maybe I've got a squeal loose somewhere, probably. But yeah, I'm very intrigued as to where this is going to go. At the moment there's only 9 volumes, and I've heard that people are, like, very, like, frustrated with where it's been left. So I'm very scared of continuing this series, but it is so good, and the artwork is just, I don't know, there's something about the artwork that I just really love. It's not my typical go-to, like, art style, but I really like it. And yeah, that is the end of my sci-fi dystopian favourites video. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know down below what your favourite sci-fi or dystopian book is, if you have one, and if not, then just tell me one of your favourite books. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!